Trucks just, revved up the minute I started. So there you go. So we are talking about values today. I am actually out on the road. You're getting a little bit of Montreal. Got my high-tech mask here. And was going to do it indoors and just got a little bit too, I don't know, there were too many people in too much of a closed space. So I came outside. Here we are, maintaining our social distance, talking about values. Okay. Got this. So, hey there. Hey, Joy. So this is a super cool topic, and I want to do a lot more with this. It kind of, if you're on our YouTube channel, which I see that some people are, if you're on the YouTube channel, we have a few topics about subtext and about hearing voices in your head, all of those. There's some really interesting things I think that we've talked about, and it's one of my favorite topics in terms of what can you do as a writer and what can you do as a reader helping a writer to make a screenplay that will make the big difference between iconic screenplays. I'm trying to stay with you. Between iconic screenplays and between screenplays that just easily work their way up the chain to screenplays that need to go back for more rewrites. To me, these subjects are the keys to that kingdom. So, and looking at values is a really big one. And so when you think about values in your life and you think about values in your screenplay, it can really, really, really make the difference. So when you go to hollywoodgatekeepers.net/write, you'll find a handout. In that handout, I just listed over 100 values, different values like love, security, commitment, like name some. So these are just things that we value in our life. And when I ask people, I've been kind of asking my friends and family and stuff, what are your values? And it's been really interesting what people put on their list as things that they value. Personally, and talk about the things that you value in your personal life, whether it's family or being creative, writing your screenplay, getting a new job, like your career. What are the things that you value? Think about that. And then think about, what did you do today? What did you do yesterday? What did you do the day before that? Because when we look at our actions reflect how we are living our values, what our values actually are, regardless of what we say they are. So it's a really interesting conundrum of when we're not getting the things that we want. Often it's because we're not living in a space where we are really living by our values. And so it's something that I'd love for everyone to think about in terms of your own life, but also in terms of characters. And when you think about a character who's iconic, or you think about iconic dialogue or iconic scenes, and you think about movies like Jerry Maguire is a great example, because that movie's values would be one of the themes of that movie, and valuing relationships, valuing love, valuing yourself, valuing your position and career. What are you willing to do to get there? Like he talks about he starts his whole journey as being on a path to this whole referendum of new life, and yet he has a really hard time living that value as he moves forward and really doing that. He can't maintain a relationship. His life crumbles and falls apart because he suddenly decides to live to a new value. He decides, my value is going to change, but he doesn't know, he has not made the journey into actually living that value. And so it's things honking. So there's so many jokes, and I'm just gonna let it go. So it's a really good example, and there's some interesting. It's so funny that they're all Tom Cruise movies for some reason that are popping into my head. Risky Business is another one where he learns a lot about values from people that you would think don't have values, and the people that you think do. Like his values shift between what's important and what's real, and it's a really deep and good. Hey, Doug, good to see you. It's a really deep and good topic to explore within screenplays. So it's something to think about in your own life. It's something that you can really look at in terms of if a character is not being authentic, probably, I would venture to guess, they are not they're not acting on the values that they're supposed to have. So if you set up a character as being heroic and then they don't do anything heroic, it's just not going to ring true. And that's a big kind of extreme example, but you can even, same kind of thing as in life, and our screenplays reflect our lives, right? So it is, if a character is supposed to be committed to like in a romantic relationship, and we're supposed to believe that these characters are in love, but they're not acting on that value, it won't ring true. So it's a really good exercise to look at your own life, like really think about the values that you have created. Think about, what are your parents' values? Like, what did they instill in you? I think as a society, or in most cultures, we instill our values. That's part of, if you come in as a little baby, pretty clean slate. And then people just start to say, hey, you need to believe this. Here's your value. And so the values become belief systems. And when we change our belief system and we decide and we realize that, oh, wait, I can make money. Just because someone makes money doesn't mean they're evil. When we have that as a belief, that can hold us back. And that money and health are always really good examples because it's so universal. So if we believe that rich people are evil, it could prevent us from making money, right? That is a belief system. But that's like on a thought belief, it's a little bit easier to see how to change that. But when you get down to values, now we're talking about changing on an identity level, which is a much deeper, bigger change. So if you find that you are not getting the things that you want out of your life, or you're unhappy in relationships and you're unhappy, take a look at that. That is, I know we're always talking about looking, right? Take a look at that. Like, seriously look at, what is the value? Like, this person and I we're in conflict right now. What values are they operating from? And when you can suddenly when that becomes clear, for one, the conflict can dissipate, because you can start to realize, oh, wait a minute. It's not that we disagree. It's that we're having a value conversation. And a lot of times, couples will argue, like, let's say a couple, and again, money is such a good example because it's so clear. So if a couple is arguing about money, they're not arguing about how much money they're spending and the tactics of money. They're arguing from a place of value, where the value is put in a different way on whatever that money argument is. Someone values money in a different way. And if you can get to that value and ask people in your life, well, what is your value? What do you believe is the value of money? What do you believe about money? When you talk about, if I'm valuing being wealthy over something else, do you believe that that's bad or good? So it's really an interesting exploration in our lives, and it's really can give you insight into yourself and into the people around you. And so then when you need to have a crucial conversation with someone and you know their values, it makes you go, okay, I know this person really values this specific thing. So I can speak to them in terms of, look, I know you value whatever it might be, love. I know you value freedom. I know you value honesty. So I'm going to be really honest with you right now, because I know that you operate your life this way. So it's a really interesting way that we can really start to understand each other on a identity level. And when you identify yourself as, I stand for this, that can be a very difficult thing to change. And so when you see people that are saying they value one thing but not honoring that, they're probably unhappy. And when you find, and this is really fascinating too, that if you find that you are in a position where you feel like you're blaming other people, you're mad, other people are annoying you a lot, other people are like they're not living up to what you expect, you're feeling hurt, left out, humiliated, afraid, alone, not appreciated, all of that, chances are that's actually you not living in your own value. Because if you're not honoring the things that are important to you and the values that you hold dear, that can manifest in blaming other people for your unhappiness. And so the best way to, if you're in a position where you're feeling like you're not communicating with someone or you're not getting what you need from someone, is to do a bit of self-care and value selfishness in a way, value making sure that you're centered, because then you can show up for other people in a better way. So, and the same holds true in screenplays. When characters are blaming each other, underneath that, is really whatever people are saying out loud, you can guarantee whatever they say to themselves is far more harsh. We are super harsh to each other, to ourselves, I mean. So when you find that people are like, I really feel like bullies that bully other people, their internal dialogue of what they say about themselves, I would venture to guess is really horrific. So when we're in this space of blaming other people, just hold on for 1 second and really start to listen to what's going on in your own world, in your own mind and psyche and heart and everything, and see where your values are and see where you're landing. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. Go back into HollywoodGatekeepers.net. Sorry, someone had their mask down there. I thought it was like a beard, just a neck beard. And I'm like, well, that's new, but it was a mask. So go in, look at the HollywoodGatekeepers.net/write to get a list of values. We're going to come back to this topic in a deeper way. The more that I learn about it, the more that I see how much it's going to help with, as a reader, when a character is not ringing true, take a look at their values. And it's a really good way to guide someone. And as a person, know your values and stand by them. Act on them daily. And you can change them as well. If you find that you're not acting on it, and you find that there is a value that you want in your life that it's not there, set it as a value and then do the things every day that reach towards that value. And we go really deep into this within our screenwriting course, which is finished. And that's currently open. And you can go to HollywoodGatekeepers.net/finish your screenplay if you want to get a behind the scenes look at that. And you can go to HollywoodGatekeepers.net/join finished if you feel like you want to go ahead and take our screenwriting course that also has a productivity course that dives into these kinds of things, because these are the things that block us from getting things done, from doing the things that we want to do, from accomplishing the goals that we want, from getting our screenplay done, from getting our movies made. So dive on in. We would love to have you. We'll be back, same back channel next week. Probably not in this environment. It's a beautiful day though. So we'll see you next week. So good to see you guys. You're the best. Have a great week and we'll see you next time. All right. Talk to you soon.